doing this.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
No, absolutely. Now, when we met at that place I declare, it was nothing but chill vibes, bro. You guys were cool people. Not only that, but very interesting, open-minded.
Yeah.
And then how you guys' Instagram, both of you guys, it was a lot of cool stuff that interested me, that I think one thing that was pretty cool was it seemed like you guys were activists.
Yeah. I don't know if you say activist, but we wanted to be a part of something and show that we feel too, and we experience it. So we wanted to let our voice be heard and just encourage others around us to feel free to speak up. That time was pretty heavy for a lot of people. It was just like constant things going on for the movement and the culture. And so we even, you just get fed up sometimes. So we felt like we did what we could by, doing our part and helping with the marches and protesting and being, active and activists.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was crazy amounts of stuff, man.
Yeah, public speaking, speaking in front of crowds, that's a barrier to break,
Yeah. I gotta admit, I didn't come out and say anything. That was all Trevor.
Yeah.
He was being the vocalist. He was letting his passion be heard and speaking from the heart, and the people felt it. They were moved by it, and it was something that you just couldn't pass up. Being a former teacher and having students see this thing is something that needs to be taught or shown to people to may bring an awareness to. And a lot of schools or normal teachers wouldn't do stuff like that. And so him stepping out on the ledge like that was excellent. It's something that the people needed, the community needed.
Absolutely. And people recognize that, then they want to do something like that too.
Exactly.
Building off of that.
Yeah, the inspiration and collaboration.
Yeah, I agree. So after doing that and you witnessing that, I'm pretty sure your energy was just high. That makes sense?
Yeah. So with that going on, it brings a different energy to you. Like I said, it's on your conscience now, and so you're aware of it, and that's something that you might think about every day. And you go about your day different, and you approach people different, and you treat people different, just all around, because too that black or brown, you may be facing the same struggle.
Absolutely.
Black male, black woman, female. Whenever the two collide and come collaborate on things, it works for the better most of the time. So the message is to just keep that in mind and don't be afraid to befriend and be involved in the community. Speak up. Some other people are thinking the same thing you're thinking. If not, they want to say it. So don't be afraid, And
I think we're slowly getting towards that, building that stronger connection, especially with Black and Brown,
Yeah, definitely. I can feel that. I can feel that. And you can see it a lot more, whether we appreciate each other's culture or just in general from growing up to now, just realizing what we like about each other, but also how much we are really alike. It's been a lot of differences like that people point out, and that's just what the society wants us to look at. But when you think about it, what's really hit you home and what's at home is you really don't have a problem. I mean, it may differ from other people, but if you're really genuinely just out here to love people and love the world and love life, you'll see that there's no problems between black and brown. We're pretty much just alike. There's a couple of differences, but those are old differences, you know what I mean? Like things that could be settled with a simple conversation.
And it's just, if anything, it's just culture,
Yeah, exactly. Just
culture, your environment, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, are you from here, born and raised?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in San Antonio, and I get that question a lot when I go out of town or anything like that. They're like, "What's the culture like? What's San Antonio like?" And it's very, and I always say it's very cultural, but you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of black culture here, but you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? You have to respect the history of the city and the things that's going on. It makes us different as people. Just, it's not no ordinary big city. It's very tourist like, but the culture is different. You know what I mean? It's just very different down here. we seem weird to other people when we go out of town. If you ever go out of town and say, I'm from San Antonio, they'll ask you about the Riverwalk, maybe the Spurs or something like that. But the culture, they wouldn't know. You know what I mean? We're about food, fun, family. Like,
good times.
you know what I mean? And people don't kind of understand it. Like, how do y'all have parties this weekend? How's family doing this weekend? And, we're just connected. And we're, it's a family thing. That's culture. That's part of the Black and brown culture is family.
I agree with that 100%. So I'm not from here. I'm from El Paso.
Okay.
But I came here as a student athlete, and as a student athlete already that was different because, coming from El Paso, it's a, small town and it's segregated, Northeast, black people, majority of El Paso, Latinos, and then in the West, you got your white people. But then here it was diverse, but especially within the school itself, it was very diverse, which was pretty cool to me. But then when you take away from being a student and you're actually like a citizen of San Antonio, it's very family friendly. It's like a friendly. To me, it's like more like a established family friendly city.
Yeah, definitely you want to come here if you're established or if you're looking to retire, settle down, or looking for a slower pace. It's things that can be done here and that are done in bigger cities, but you got to take the time. There's no instant gratification here. I feel like when you want to do something that you would normally do in a bigger city, like as far as fun, investments, and all that kind of stuff, everything's the same everywhere, but the timing and the process is just the only thing that's different. So you would just have to find your footing and, just remember where you are and play that into part. Because that goes for any city, state. You know what I mean? If you go to Las Vegas or something and you're not ready to be on the high horse or fast pace and switch up where there's businesses and parties and things going on all the time, you never know, how fast, or you might get left behind. So this is definitely family and a slower pace for people, take the time for people who looking to take their time.
That is true. Like what you said, with instant gratification, I would say here it's, you're slowly building. It's a process. But what I like about this city is that there's a lot, it's innovating, and there's a lot of innovation to be done. Because I feel like we're kind of behind from other big cities. Definitely.
That's one of the reasons why people either leave or are always gone, So I guess we just don't have that. I mean, we have what we have, but people are looking for something else, and it hasn't been built yet here. As you can see, we're starting to expand the city more north and was that east, I believe, or west? Yeah, more north and northwest. And so there's construction over there, or there are new highways and things that were built on the loops and on 410 and 1604. And then you have just the downtown buildings, new additions and things like that. You can see that they're trying to build something different and to bring in a newer environment, new culture, but it won't change much, but it's going to be changing for the better, I feel like. As long as we do our part and get a hand in it.
100%. I feel like this city's got a lot of old money.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of old money because it's a family, city. But a lot of new money's coming in, which I think is better for the city,
Yeah.
Because now it's giving more people more opportunities and.
Yeah. And it's creating jobs, and really not even jobs. It's people are really on the entrepreneurship, and it's just creating the opportunity of they don't have it here. We can be the first to do it, or we can bring this here, bring something new to the place, and it's just giving people opportunity. Literally, just opportunity. That's the word. Just opportunity to see what's different, to see where they can fit in, see where they can make an impact and inspire people, or just see how the city's growing. It's just an opportunity to see, to experience.
That is true. No, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's leaving a good impact on the people.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me, I think the pandemic, it gave us a time to take advantage,
Yeah. Honing on your skills, your craft, and your passions. That's what I got from it. I wasn't really using my embroidery machine like that, and things started trickling down. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can, sharpen up my skills, and things just been taking off. So, new doors open, opportunities. You just look at the bigger picture when things like this happens. You know what I mean? What did you not have the time to do, and what have you been wanting to do or meaning to do? You know, now is the time to, in the midst of change is when you go for it all. I need that as a quote somewhere. That just came. I need that. But in the midst of change, you got, you know what I mean? That's when you go for it all because there's nothing to lose. What are you going to do? Go back to your normal? You know, that's usually worst case scenario. I mean,
it's pride, you know.
Yeah.
You know, pride is going to be the death of people.
Always.
You know,
yeah. Pride will stop you from doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Or having you missing on a lot of things.
Yeah. Pride and the fear of failure.
Yeah.
You know, I think
I can see that.
I read this book. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and it says, you know, it's better to fail at something than to think about it for so long and never attempt to do it.
Yeah.
You know, at least you take your shot. You know, at least you take your shot.
You know, that's because everybody knows if you might not regret it, but you're gonna always think like, dang, I didn't even try. You know, or at least I tried. You know, a lot of people say that's a loser's attitude. At least I tried. You should be doing. Yeah, that is true. You should be doing, but before you can do, you got to try. And, you know, and give it a shot. Give yourself a chance. That's all you can ask for. That's all people ever ask for, from the best, worst athletes to the best, worst educators or best, worst humans. Just try. Just try to do, you know, good.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do is try. And then once you get to that point, you'll be doing. Believe me, it'll become a habit of trying that it turns into doing. So, and
that's what you want is action.
Exactly.
When you were doing Meraki Fit, when did you start that? When did you start Meraki Fit?
Okay, so I started Meraki Life.
Sorry, Meraki Life. I'm sorry.
Meraki Life. Yeah, but you know, since you said fit, I'm gonna make some room for that too. I'm gonna get into that and make some fitness clothes, a lot of active wear and things. The language is Greek, and it means to do the labor of love is the original definition. It's loving the work that you do with soul, creativity, and passion. So, just Meraki Life, it just came about when I was no longer playing sports, no longer an athlete. I consider myself no longer an athlete. You don't want to be an ex-athlete trying to relive glory days or always living in the past. So, you know, I'm like, hey, Meraki Life, you love what you do. This is something new. So I basically started a whole new identity, and I'm still really creating that identity as I become a better person and a more developed person with the things that I want to do in life and my passions and my skills. And that's what, you know, that's what I want to do. So that's what I wanted to do with the brand is deliver the message, spread the message. If you can't do nothing, you can always be good. So I wanted to spread that message of doing what you love and not everybody going into this world of, because, you know, as we get older, we're looking like, man, we're going to be those guys that's 40, 60, 50, whatever age, and waiting on a retirement check. Like, we don't want to do that. Like, we don't want to keep that tradition or whatever that is going. You know, we're the new generation of just straight entrepreneurship. If it doesn't work, oh well. You know what I mean? Like we don't really care about the outcome of a corporation, I guess, and how it affects a lot. We rather die doing what we love to do, or at least that's how I feel. I'd rather die doing what I love to do than to regret.
Never do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, regret and then never do and never take any action and say, man, I could have, or I had this idea, or we was talking about it, but
all it is a talk. You
exactly.
know?
So, and when I seen the definition in the word, that's how it came about. I'm like, hey, this will make me move because it's a reminder. Like when somebody asks me every day, what is Meraki? I'm gonna be telling them, and then I gotta. And in the process of me telling you, it's gonna come to me like, yeah, I'm still doing what I love. You know what I mean? Like, so you should too. You know, I just slide that in there. Just yeah, you should be doing that too. I mean, everybody understands you got to handle business and everything, but you should definitely be trying to do what you love.
Yeah. I think if you do what you love, more materials too, you know, more common good, you know, because it's something you love. So people recognize that passion. And not only that, but I think that love transfers over.
Yeah, definitely. You can pass the energy, pass the feeling.
100%.
Yeah, you can do that. Definitely.
Man, when I cut my potatoes last night for my tacos, dude, I was cutting them with love, dude.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I'm
saying? And especially in food, man. Especially in food. So I used to be when I went to Southeastern Oklahoma State University, where I was I worked in a cafeteria. You know, whenever the students and everybody come eat, and you can kind of tell when someone prepared the dish differently. You know, with true purpose of just, I want these kids to eat for the sake of being, you know, full, fed, and having some food in their stomach, because, you know, not everybody is fortunate enough to eat in college. So you can tell the difference when I don't know what you call them, cafeteria people. Whenever we would serve people, you know what I mean? They enjoyed a special order. If they wanted something special, they would enjoy it when they watch you make it. Because, you know, you have to bear. You can see making a burger, your sandwich, whatever. But you can see the energy that's being put into your food. And so a lot of times that would translate. You know, people order angrily. You're going to make it angrily maybe. But you got to counter that. And, hey, I got you. Oh, you didn't get a special order? I hooked you up. Like, come back to me. You know, stuff like that. And let people know that they're important too. Like, I'm not just doing this for people that I know. I'll do it for a stranger. You know what I mean? So you just want to give everybody that same energy.
Absolutely. Like how you said earlier, like, you know, if someone gives you, like, says it with hate or something, bad energy, that makes you want to make it even better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some people may see it differently, but that only would make you want to make it better to change that for you. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, leave that impact. You know, whether it's good or bad. Hopefully, it's for the better.
Yeah, reaction. Let's talk about reaction, and it all correlates. But just think about it for a second. Reaction. You have the choice to choose your next action after that. You know what I mean? That means you're acting again. So you got the choice. When you react, you have the choice to choose your next action. And we blame it on habit or it's just a reaction. Like, you know, take it in and think about what you're gonna do before you do it. And
I think you must understand before you react.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's part of it. Yeah. You definitely got to understand what just happened.
Yeah,
understand what just happened. Process the situation. What's at stake? Who does it affect? And things like that. Yeah, man. Because people got to take that time so we can make sure we all giving out that energy. Because everyone speaks highly on having good energy and passing good energy and things like that, but we still got to do the work to know that we understand this person. Like, you may be good at it the first week, like, but once you lose, you know, you stop practicing on controlling your responses and your outbursts, you're just another hothead again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it wasn't sustainable.
Exactly. So
do you do any do you have any morning habits or daily habits that you try to do that you construct within your schedule to, like, help you develop?
I didn't at first, and I was living a life of chaos. And then once I got my new job, I've been picking up new things like reading, just breathing in the morning, man. Just taking the time to realize and appreciate where you are that morning. Like, I'm alive. I have this job, or I have this to do, or I have this bed. I have whatever you have to be grateful for. You got to do that first things first. So whether I'm doing anything like on the go or not, I'm always thinking, like, well, at least that'll be my first response to my first complaint of the morning. So before I even complain, or when I start the morning off complaining, like, dang, I don't have this, like, well, at least I got this. You know, that's how I try to do it now. And as I get better, it'll be more of a, we working for this today, or, you know, things like that. But certain situations, I'm just like, hey, at least I have this, just to bring myself back to the bottom level of gratitude, just starting with the foundation of gratitude first. And then you can go about it however. I'm order and make that an order itself. But, you know.
That makes sense. Yeah,
so, and then just go off of your feelings and your emotions. That's my main routine. I go off of how I feel and my emotions. You gotta decipher to yourself, do you really feel sad? Or is there something that you heard that made you sad? Or somebody that, you know, somebody's situation that you know about that made you sad? A lot of times we bear other people's pain and such problems and things like that. So part of my routine is making sure I don't bear other people's problems, honestly. To give you a straight, direct answer, like I said, get up in the morning, be grateful, and then make sure you're not bearing other people's problems. That would be my number 2 thing, is make sure, like, you start the morning off with a crazy message from somebody, man, you got to know that ain't your problem. You got to know that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you down the rabbit hole of problems that ain't yours, and you hurting.
I've been doing reading lately, which helps me with my routine and habits. And the books that I've read, you know, it talks about gratitude. These books I read, it's like self-improvement.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the first thing you should wake up and,
those are the best books, man.
Yeah.
Those are the best books, man. So, you know, self-improvement is key. You can't change the world until you're changed.
Yeah.
And people well, I ain't gonna say people forget, but we're so vocal about changing and making the world a better place, but nobody wants to go to the drawing board and see where they are wrong and what's, you know, needs to be, what can be improved. I'm not going to say what's wrong with somebody, but what can be improved in their behaviors, their habits, and in their lifestyle.
Self-improvement is everything.
Yeah.
That's going to help you change the world.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be the leader, you know, the book writer, the author, the inspiration person. But you got to do the work. Those people are doing the work. They're not put out there because they didn't do the work and they just know the fancy words. Those words come from experience and the pain and the growth, you know what I mean? That's what and the development.
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah, so if you see somebody asking for a book, man, offer them a self-help book. If not, you know, a culturally historical book, somewhere they can learn about themselves and who they really are. My best thing would be a self-help book or a self-development book, because self-improvements are number one. Little things like eating habits, time scheduling, time management, and your focus it'll change a lot.
A lot of us don't know what we want to do. You know, there's 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. But if we can, you know, self-develop every day, you know, just work on ourselves internally, like, we're slowly gonna get there, you know, but we're building ourselves, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that thing of breaking the generational curse, or just the old tradition of not knowing who you are and what you want to do because of what society's been putting on us for so long, you know.
These boundaries.
Just so many boundaries. You got to be willing to break barriers. Like they said at the Tremont Temple Church, you got to strip, you know, strip yourself of the negativity, strip yourself of the doubt and the fear, and just run in there, you know, run in there. Come in naked as a new person and pick up some new things, some new habits, some new clothes and everything like that. Not literally, don't go spending your monies, but, you know, pick up some things, man.
Reconstruct
books.
yourself.
Yeah, rebuild yourself. You don't have to, you're not obligated to be the same person you was last year, yesterday, last week, last night. You know, you might turn a new leaf in the morning, but if you're going to turn that new leaf, you better ride that new leaf until it's an old leaf, you know, and you turn in a new leaf after that one. It's always going to be room for growth and improvement. So
like a cycle life rebirth, you know, in a way.
Exactly. Be a phoenix, man. Be a phoenix.
I like that, you know, and I mean that also comes with, you know, to a point, you shouldn't care what other people think about you. You know, just do it, because they're not going to be doing it.
Yeah.
I read something and it says, well, two things. One, it's like, the people who are gonna criticize about you, they're not doing nothing with their lives.
Exactly.
The people that are gonna lecture you and mentor you, they're the ones that are gonna be helping you. They're the ones with the experience. You know? Yeah. So know those two differences.
Yeah, you definitely gotta know when somebody's like lecturing you out of leadership and lecturing you out of ignorance. You know, like, you don't know what you're doing, or that ain't right. Like, well, did you do the homework? Did you do the research? A leader is going to tell you, like, well, I can show you. Really, a leader is going to show you, like, this is why it's wrong, or this is why you should be doing, this is what's the difference. And a leader or a mentor will break it down for you.
They'll break it down for you.
Yeah. So it won't, you know, he or she or it will talk your language. The mentor will talk your language, you know, in a way that you can understand. It's almost like it's like a personal conversation, man. You and your mentor is kind of personal because they learn about you and you learn about them, and you, like I said, you pick up things from them and they pick up things from you, even though you may not think that because they're your mentor that you have nothing to offer them. But everybody can learn from everybody.
That's true. And I think with that mentorship, you know, at least, you know, through my experience with one of my mentors right now, it's, you know, he enjoys it, you know, because, you know, as they see you for a while, you know, they see, you know, improvement. They see, you know, they see improvement. They see growth, development. Yeah,
and when they can see the improvements and the growth, it makes them very, very happy. Yeah, they just feel proud of them. Not only proud of themselves, but proud of you. Like genuinely proud of you because they watch you from when you were not I can say nothing, but like struggling or something like that. And now that they see you grow, they can't do anything but be proud of you. Like the work, the hard work. They're watching you put in the work. They're watching you or helping you put in, you know, helping you break your creative blocks or anything like that. So mentors are really important, more important than people want to give respect to, but also people got to understand how to be a mentor and what that comes with. You know, it's not a badge of celebrity badge. I'm your mentor. Like, no, it's not that. It's more so like I'm genuinely here to help you. People don't even have to know who I am, type of deal.
Yeah.
So that can be a thing too.
In a way, it's like you're a product of them, you know, in a way.
Okay.
You know, you're like a little product of them.
Yeah, definitely. You are a product of your mentor or anybody, any information that you soak up for that matter. Like we talked about reading books and having a routine. That book is your mentor. If you're reading on a daily basis, you know.
That author, yeah.
Yeah, that author. Yeah, that author is your mentor because those are his words or her words, you know, and it's strong. And it's in the book for the world to read, so it's not even a biasness. The person doesn't even know what you look like or even know that you're reading it. But if you soak that information up right and apply it, that information turns that person into a mentor unknowingly. If you notice, a lot of people give credit to books they've read or even will re-quote or recite, I guess. Authors. Yeah, recite authors in other books. And that's what I've learned about from the new readings that I've been doing. A lot of these self-help books come from other self-help books. You know what I mean? Like the information comes from another author. Old information, new information. It's just resaid, revised, you know. But nothing new is under the sun. Yeah.
Just highlighted different, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So
refinement.
That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. A little refinement, a little refurbishment. It's like building a house or something, like a garden or taking care of your life or your child or something. You know, you got to treat it as such. Like, everything's important. When it comes to your well-being, I should say, everything's important, you know, everything. Because what you intake, what you put out, what you allow, what you don't allow, everything's important.
Everything's important. It's like the 5 things that I think is very important is what you're consuming, you know, as far as media, food, beverages, everything, your environment.
Yeah, your body is, they say, your temple. If you're going to trash your temple, you know, you're out of there. So as long as you want to take care of everything, like I said, you'll be pretty good and set. You won't have to worry about sicknesses and
you're prepared.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times illnesses and sicknesses outside of diet just comes from fear and ignorance and just not knowing, anxiety. You know, those things come from being unprepared. You're not scared when you're prepared. You don't fear failure when you know I've done my best. When you lay down that night and you know you did the research and the work or anything slightly, like you done seen people study the night before for 3 hours and pass the test. They could have been putting themselves in a chill box or in a chill mode the whole time had they did that, you know. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, outside circumstances doesn't allow us to be prepared. But given when you have the opportunity and the time to be, you would want to be. That way, you're not living a life of frantic, even when you don't have to be in a frantic situation. So, no, we got to take the time to do our due diligence and put in the work.
Yeah, and like how you said, take care of that temple, because that's everything.
Yeah, you can't work if your body don't want to, move that morning. If you're not feeling well, or if you don't just feel like you can handle it, it becomes a mental thing and a physical thing. So once, you got to battle. It's going to be 2 battles every morning, mental and physical battle every morning. You're going to battle, like I said, depression, fear, negative, anything, you're going to battle it. Whether it's a good battle or a bad battle, you're going to battle it. But you got to know what it is and what it means to you, classify it as something that you know how to deal with. And you can have a balance. Just find the balance. Find the balance.
That's all it is, finding a balance. But then when you have the mental and the physical working with each other against you, then what's up with the spirit? What happens to the spirit?
Yeah, the spirit is the thing that we ignore a lot, to be honest. And I think I skipped that when I just said too. Yeah. So the spirit is it's a combination of the other two. I feel like if you're taking care of your physical and your mental, it'll allow for a clean spiritual moment, or just clean spirituality in general, and picking your hopes up, just good spirits. But if you're doing bad, you can't even expect your body or your spirit to be up, because like your spirits may be up, but if your physical's down, it's like
you're not going to perform.
Yeah, things are just, you still got to, like, it has to be a balance. Like, if they're going to be all up, all equal, like, it has to be a balance for you to perform. So you can't really move without the others. They're they're tied on a rope.
Yeah. And a lot of people forget about that spiritual, Yeah. So a lot of people, just kind of focus on the mental and the physical.
And that's actually the heaviest. That's the most important thing, to be honest, because if you're spiritually disturbed, then you're probably going to be mentally disturbed. Which leads to a physical deplete. Because spiritually, if you're just out of whack, then your mind doesn't have a place to rest. I feel like your mental, because a lot of people, once you're spiritual, it goes into your mental. Like it just kind of sits there, it sits there. So your faith, and you're thinking about your spiritual, like, oh man, I don't think I can do this. And that's just faith. Whether you're prepared or not, you still got to have faith and things like that. So it's a combination. You got to bring all three when you come into play. This is life. Like, and people always say life is a game, and I like to look at it like that. But you got to come to play this game. Like, you got to come to play. Like, life, it has work in it. It has fun in it. You got to know how to make work fun or have fun at work. Like, you got to know how to play in this game of life.
Yeah. I see it like this, too. If you want to succeed, or, if you want to do what you want to do, well, then you got to play it hard.
Yeah, it goes back to reading, man. You read these stories about how people become billionaires and millionaires, or just even creating generational wealth, or just creating anything, a legacy for their families, for their name and their families. It's just work. Nothing was ever easy. Some people get passed down, but people are working to be that person that is able to pass it down. We're working to be the person that, hey, these next generations may not have to do anything because of the work that I did. And that approach is different. I mean, when you have that approach, you'll see it different than somebody that's like, oh, well, I didn't get nothing passed down to me, or I didn't get anything handed down to me, which is I guess a valid argument in certain cases. But at the same time, the work still has to be done. You still got to know what to do. Still got to know how to make good decisions for the better of the company, or
100%.
or for the people. So, like I said, it's life, man. It's a game, and when people want to get in the game, they don't understand what the position that comes with or requires.
Position,
it's like,
'cause everyone's in a different position.
Exactly. So you just understand what your position requires, man, and you can move up to the next one as you learn what each position requires, or where you want to go requires. Like, in order to be a great businessman, I got to know how to make good decisions, what to say no to, what to say yes to, what what to collaborate with, what not to collaborate with, what stands for the brand, and things like that. You know, you got to have boundaries and rules and standards and goals and missions and things that you just live by, stand by, that won't alter until you grow.
That's true. That's true. You gotta stick to your guns.
Yeah. Come in, shooter. Better leave out with blanks.
Yeah. You know, and it goes back to the self-help books. It talks about action. The more action you're doing towards, like, whatever you want to do, you know, your business, your growth, your journey, you know, you learn through the process. And, you know, like selling tacos and the burritos, it's helped me learn a lot about language, you know, and approaching people, you know, selling and approaching people, and how important networking is in communication.
Yeah. Very important. Hey, I had a question in mind for you too, and it just slipped. Dang. So how do you take? You asked me about my routine. So how do you take on new endeavors whenever you wanted to do something? Like when you wanted to do this podcast, or when you were selling tacos and burritos. How did you take those on, or how did you come about just creating your new identity or evolving?
You know, I would say as far as like this podcast, because this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. You know, I think I started slowly seeing it in my dreams. Yeah. You know, by solitude. You know, when I moved out of living with my roommates, when I had my own apartment, it gave me a lot of time to think for myself. Yeah. You know, and kind of know what I want. And you know, I would always have crazy conversations with random people, you know. I just, you get bored, you know, at HEB.
Signs, those are the signs, though, man. When you're walking alone and you're in solitude, and you just start running into people having just genuine, conversations, and sometimes you forget to exchange names. That's how genuine they be, you know, genuine they are, and you're like, dang. But the whole time, that was just a message that they threw that in there for you to, you know, your guardians, your angels. They threw that in there for you to hey, like, message, you know,
record it.
Like, think about this. This one's gonna stick with you because it's so random. That's why they send it in such a unique way. Like, I would have never talked to this guy, but then you stop and you talk to him, and it's the best, maybe craziest, wildest, informal conversation you ever had, and you're blown by it. And when you explain to somebody, they're like, yeah, you were just talking to a random stranger, and okay, you know, but only you will take that message away. Only you can take that sign away from the person you're talking to. Yeah. Even if it is somebody you talk to on a daily basis, it may be a random conversation y'all never had. You know what I mean? So,
it was definitely, it was.
Yeah, it's a sign. So, like, you gotta listen, man. Like you said, it was in your dreams, man. You were seeing it, seeing people that you like, and then you don't even think about it until you're like, dang, I think I was dreaming about that, or I think I had a vision of that. And so, it's just fun to walk in the uniqueness of this of the signs and the things like that.
Dreams are powerful, dude.
Yeah,
dreams are powerful, man. Dreams are powerful.
Understanding your dreams, reflect on your dreams, man. Reflect, because their dreams tell you everything. Your dreams tell you a lot, I should say. Not everything, but they tell you a lot about where you're going, where you're headed, what's going on, like what's after you.
Yeah, what's after you? What's after you?
What's after you? Somebody's after you, man. You can always feel a bad spirit when it's around, or when something's different. You know,
something's up.
Yeah. You can always feel when something's up. Like,
yeah, you gotta trust that intuition.
Yeah, they gave it to you for a reason. We got it for a reason.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes they warn you, and when it warns you, you fuck up, but it could have been worse. Yeah. That's the way I see it sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it could always be worse. But it could always be better, too. Think about that. You know, I don't want to send people into like a shock or a state of fear of course. You know, but it could have been worse, but then again, it could have been better. So avoided. That changes the way of thinking, like, dang, I made a bad decision. It could have been worse. No, it's like, he made a decision that could have been better. Think about what could have happened better had you taken the time, had you did the due diligence. So, you know, it's the same sword, just a different edge. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, it could have been worse. Yeah, it could have. And I say that because a lot of times I'm like, dang, man, you know, I could be in a worse position. But why think about that? why not think about, it could be better. Have the gratitude. Don't get me wrong. Have the gratitude, but say it could be better. Because, like I said, there's always room for improvement. But, maybe you didn't take the time that time and make that.
Prepare yourself better,
Yeah, like sometimes you could just do a little bit better that time. Sometimes you're perfect for that situation. So sometimes you just got to appreciate the work that's in front of you or the work that you did and leave it at that. And let people know, like, hey, I ain't perfect, but I gave it my best shot. Yeah. So that's a business venture right there. Y'all seeing it live because that's going to be one. You're more than welcome. We can collaborate on that since we're here.
Yeah.
Just think about it. The expression, like diary format, but it's called the expression. You don't have it has the date that you thought about it, the day that you're feeling, the day that it was written, but you're just expressing yourself about the things that you've learned and stuff like that. I think that'll be a good book of just information. I think you never know what people learn and things like that. So I think that's
a good idea.
Yeah, you can gather your thoughts, just random thoughts, and all right, I'm convinced. I think I convinced myself. I convinced myself.
That's the next one. Do you journal?
No, not on the. I have different forms of expression for me. Journaling, not really. I write in my notes, but it's more music things that I can put in a music format. So I might say it with a melody or a flow, but I'm trying to express myself. Yeah, it's not really jotting down, or sometimes I'll write in my notes, but like I said, I have the microphone set up at the house, and so I just like to get on there, even though it's not like a professional studio recording or anything like that. I don't really care about none of that stuff, man. I just want to express myself. When I get in the mood to feel like I can pay somebody to what I'm really trying to say, then I would go to, regular, professional studio and all that stuff. But I really just do the music thing just because it's an outlet. Like, it's like how people journal. It's an outlet for me to
That's true.
To say how I feel, and I don't have to put it out. I can always hear myself talk. I can always hear what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And that goes a long way, not to be like selfish or conceited or anything like that, but you need to hear what you're saying. Like, how do you sound? Did you even hear how you sounded? Because sometimes we sound pretty stupid. So, we gotta just take the time to reflect, and that's part of my reflection period. I've gotten away from, but usually I take some time and reflect, and just think about the day, what I've done, my progress, my energy. Like, was I moody today? Was I slouchy? Was I
grumpy? Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Was I like, am I at my breaking point? You know what I mean? Yeah. You gotta know, man. You gotta ask yourself questions that you would ask your spouse.
That's true.
I don't know why I said that, but those are things that you just gotta ask.
There's gotta be that communication.
Yeah, so.
Communication, I think, comes a long way, and if you don't talk to people or talk to someone, talk to your spouse, it just eats up at you,
Yeah, because you're just holding those thoughts in, and like I said, you never know how somebody's feeling, so you can even be dismissive on accident, So being dismissive is almost an accident, and I say that because sometimes you have to be dismissive because it's part of having boundaries and standards and things. So,
of course,
some things you gotta just not even acknowledge because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Know your boundaries.
Yeah, definitely know your boundaries. Know your boundaries for sure. Yeah, man, that's crazy. So is your purpose what do you feel like your purpose is in life? And this ties back to when you asked me what about Meraki life. So I'll full circle when,
I respect that.
Yeah.
No, thank you for asking that. I tell you what, I feel like my purpose is still like sharpening.
Mm-hmm.
First I thought my purpose was just to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
And that was, because I was starting the podcast, I would just practice on my notes,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say some of the most ridiculous stuff. Like I'm glad I took the time to start my podcast instead of just going straight forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just sounded like a fool, but it was funny. But just a fool, and then keep working with this, and it's like, oh well, you know what? I want to make an impact in people's lives. I want them to always have a different perspective. Never, not never, but not always believe what was given to you.
Yeah.
Question it. It's okay to question stuff.
Yeah, always have a question.
And I may have a podcast with a different entrepreneur, a different artist, but in a way, it all connects.
Yeah.
Like everything somehow connects. Like books connect with people. Like a tree connects with someone. Like the way it's. Like there's
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So it's kind of like connect all. You know?
Yeah.
It's developed. I would say it's sharpening. It's sharpening.
Sharpening. Yeah. And those in life, you're gonna have tools that are just for that. I like to look at myself as a tool. People can use me for the benefit of the good. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I feel you. Use me.
You have to, man. That's what we're here for. You're like a vessel. You're a vessel. We are a vessel, an extension of the higher up. So we have this power, this ability, this creation gift that we got. So, like you said, your purpose is to create an environment to sharpen other people, and that's excellent because. Not everything that's dull will stay dull, or it probably shouldn't even be dull. They just need some sharpening. You know what I mean? Like pencils are made for writing, but you can't write with a dull pencil. I mean, you can, but it ain't as good as a sharp one. Or you're not going to use a brand new number 2 pencil until you sharpen it. You know what I mean? So things might not be able to get used until they're sharpened. So your purpose still serves its true purpose of being like a sharpener.
Yeah.
So. That's important, and don't you forget that at all. Never undermine what you're doing and what your purpose is. Even people like, for instance, let's talk about a rock. Since we're talking about purpose of life, the rock, not the rock, the person, but a rock, like a simple,
like a simple, rock.
Yeah, a little rock, like a rock, like.
If you smell,
you see a rock just in there with an apron on, you're like, what the, no, but. Yeah, so the rock is everywhere, or a rock is everywhere, and you're like, what's its purpose? Sometimes it's to sit on, sometimes it's to hold the shore up, like on the beaches and all that good stuff, where you got the coastline where people can, sit on and catch some land finally from after miles and miles of water, or it might be to be
protective.
For protection or. Just anything. You never know each rock has its own purpose, just like we do. So that's why, like, what brings me to Meraki Life, and its purpose is to inspire people to do what they love and basically beat it into them, like just beat it into you to do what you love. Like, I understand circumstance, I understand situation, and I understand things like unfortunate events, but as long as you have faith and like are really trying to follow your true purpose and passion, it'll work out in one way or another. It'll work out. I don't have the answer to how and when, but I'm a product of it. I can say I'm a product of it. Going from when I was working at HEB, a couple days a week. Sometimes, sometimes you get 5 days. Sometimes you get 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. That's inconsistent and rocky.
Yeah.
To speak of a rock,
It's rocky, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, I had to find a place to settle in and, like, okay, well, what is your purpose? What are you going to do for that? Like, what are you willing to do to go serve your purpose? And at the time, like I said, the pandemic was just started and everything. So I'm like in between jobs, like financially, like trying to get right. But I'm still serving my purpose of doing what I love by creating these products and spreading this message. I can do it without the products, to be honest. The The products is just something for people to remember the message about. I remember when I saw that, I talked to that dude who had on that Meraki Life shirt. And say, for instance, you have on the Meraki Life shirt right now, and you go and talk to somebody. Hey, I appreciate you, But if you go and talk to somebody and you drop a bomb on them, a gem on them, they gonna remember you like, dang, that's the information was heavy. What was he wearing? What was he doing? And it just kind of like, Meraki Life. Okay, well, I remember such and such had on that Meraki Life. And I remember, like, that's what it's for, you know what I mean? Like, the words are there, the message is there, but the product, when you see that, because you're going to ask yourself, what is Meraki Life again? Until it's, like, almost instant, you know what it means.
Yeah.
So that's going to be your reminder right there. Every time you say Meraki Life, what does it mean? Every time you ask yourself, what is it? Either you're going to do the research or you're going to come find me and ask me or look on, whatever, Instagram, website. But you're going to be given a reminder of what it is. So by the end of that day, you're going to be remembering to do what you love. You know what I mean? And that's the whole purpose, is to have that message in the morning and have that same message at night. So, I mean, that's really it. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, it can be really without a product. I don't need to sell shirts, you know what I mean? I can draft up speaking engagements, if I will, and just spread that message, and that may even go further, but...
There's just an expression.
Exactly. Just another form of expression, another layout, another platform for expression, you know what I mean? Another venue, whatever you want to call that stuff. It's just another space for expression. So, painting, like you said, journaling, graphics, whatever it is.
Whatever, it's a form of expression.
Yeah, I'm all about outlets to express yourself, all about that, like podcasting. Definitely. I actually appreciate it. Let me give you your flowers while you are here. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you, because not often do you meet somebody with a genuine conversation in public, and then it actually follows through. I count that as a development of being more professional and things like that, because a lot of times you don't follow through, or, just given the situation, circumstance. There's nothing against anybody, but some things just don't follow through. And so you want to wear your clothing or deliver your message is important. Like having a spokesperson, picking the spokesperson, or having an image of your brand is important, because you gotta let people know what you stand for, and you're not just a brand that wants somebody to buy. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to spread this message first before I want you to come in, bring in consumers and everything like that. Spread this message first, and then the message will do the rest of the work for us. You know what I mean? That's my whole spiel. Like, the message is doing the work. We just got to present it with the energy and the true passion that we have for whatever you're doing. But the message is still the message. Like, whether you hear it crying, whether you hear it yelling, or whether you hear it in a whisper, it's still doing what you love.
That's true. And, I think about that, like, with my podcast, too. I can't just have anybody come. I've had people, like, message me, hey, let me get to your car.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of demand it, too, and it's like, well, why do I want a person that's going to demand it,
Yeah, exactly.
And, you just... you can't have everybody in your circle,
Yeah, exactly. Everything ain't for everybody, and you yourself are not for everybody.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You are not for everybody. Not everybody deserves access and things like that. That's another thing I'm learning too, is limiting access to people, because I'm a gem dropper, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and self-proclaim that. I'm just gonna go ahead and self-proclaim that while we're here. You know what I'm saying? I'll drop gems. If you ever hang around me or we just out and about and we have a conversation, it doesn't even have to be for too long, but if we having a conversation, there will be at least one or two gems in there. I'm not even gonna make a promise I can't keep. So, but you can almost count on it. I could say that. I would rather say that. You can almost count on it that I'm gonna drop a gem for sure. It's just because it comes from the heart, man. I might get lost in thought and start speaking straight from the heart. That's why I was kind of switching the subjects on you a little bit and just asking you like things, because like things come from the heart, man. You want to know who you're dealing with and who people are, and I'm a open-hearted person. Like, I don't care if you lying to me. Even if I can feel you lying, I'm gonna look at you dead ass like you're not lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet you he's just trying to, or he or she is just trying to get to a better place or better position in life. But I'm I'm gonna remember it. I might not hold it. I'm not gonna hold it against you. But because I've been in situations where I had to lie until I made it up to that point. I guess if you lie with good intention to fulfill that lie. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and you ain't done it yet. Well, you better go do it. You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, I wouldn't say lie just to be fooling people and getting over on people. Nah, if you're gonna lie, you
tell the truth.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna lie, tell the truth. Like, you better be buying yourself some time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And love to fulfill that lie. So, to where it turns into the truth, yeah. So, that's how I get down.
There's a quote from Scarface, I'll never forget it, when he's like, you need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking finger and say, that's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. And I was like, damn, like if you actually pick that phrase, you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I like that movie, and it's just one of the things I used to do a lot. When my parents see this, they're gonna be like, I knew it, but. Like, just a small example, like, grade school, you bring that report card home, and it's like, did you pass? Did you fail? What kind of grades you got? And I'm like, man, I got A's and B's, but, the progress report say something different.
Yeah.
But the report card is the one that counts. So I got some time, you know what I mean? Like, I got my work in, even, you know what I'm saying? Like, from that 3 weeks from where, it used to be 6 weeks for us, but, 3 weeks progress report, then 6 weeks report card. And that 3 weeks when you get your progress report and you see, like, oh, you need to pick this up by the next 3 weeks, I'm already saying, like, yeah, I turned this in, I turned that in. This is going to be that grade. I'm going to be good, but I haven't done the work yet. I put myself in a position to where if I don't fulfill this, and if this is not true by the 6 weeks, I'm a liar.
Yeah.
And so, I work the system to where I can fulfill those, then lies into truths. So, and that's a tricky system too, because shit, you might lie so much that you think that you actually did it and you didn't even freaking do it. So, that's another system. Like they say, you lie so much that it becomes the truth. So you got to pick your poison on how you do it.
When you lie so much, it becomes the truth.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison on how you do it. Like I said, people like to carry double-edged swords and only look at one side. See these gems, man. You see what I'm saying?
Dude,
you see what I'm saying?
I think everything in life is a contradiction. I think everything in life is a contradiction.
That's the best part about it, man. It's like
that's the best part about it.
You can be contradicting, and things doesn't even have to make sense. Like, it's art. Life is art. Art is life. You know what I mean? Look at the correlation. Like, people say, I was looking at the that quote one day, and it was like, art is life, and I was like, is it? Like, is it really? Like, how? I broke it down to myself, and I'm like, well, yeah, because in life, you're free to do whatever. In art, you're free to do whatever. It's just a matter of, it's just a reflection of your thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's the way you're expressing yourself. Nobody can tell you how you feel in life. Nobody can tell you how you feel about art. That's why everybody's art interpretation is gold to them or to somebody once they are deemed the art person. Like, oh, you're this person, so you know everything. And then everything they say comes with, like, praise, but in reality, you see people, they say failed artists. No, people just picked a different trend or something. You know what I mean? Like, or just people didn't understand what was going on. A lot of times, I don't know if artists get to explain themselves. Like, I know for sure painters, because like in music, you can kind of pick out the words and say, yeah, I feel that. And you can use the context clues about where they were coming from about it. But in painting, you're just looking at a picture and it's speaking to you, but you don't know if you are understanding what the artist was trying to portray.
That's true.
Because each image or each expression has its own message. Like I said, unless the artist tells you this is what I'm trying to do here, you're still gonna, even if that happens, you're still gonna have your own opinion and perspective about it.
It's like words have two meanings.
Yeah, and that's only in the messed up English language. And